Introducing the Cloud-Ready Solutions Arcserve UDP recovery tool for Amazon EC2. This tool is designed to allow you to recover Arcserve UDP recovery points directly into Amazon EC2. This recovery tool allows you to recover on demand into automatically provisioned Amazon EC2 instances. It's a lot lower cost technique than using virtual standby, and it works for on-premise backups of EC2 instances, and Arcserve Cloud Hybrid hosted in AWS. It is worth mentioning that there is currently no supported means of restoring from Arcserve Cloud Hybrid in AWS or restoring Amazon EC2 instances within AWS. One of the key features of the recovery tool is the ability to provision your choice of EC2 instance on demand. You can select the availability zone, the subnet, the IP address, security groups, and the instance type. You can also import standalone disks and attach them to any other running EC2 instance. We have also introduced a new feature where you have the option to store credentials in encrypted format. We'll now look at a short demonstration. The configuration allows us to store encrypted credentials, and we can also choose if we wish to delete logs older than 10 days. To get started, we just click on this Start button. We now have an option to choose if we wish to write credentials to the log files. Obviously, for security reasons, it's not a good idea to store credentials in log files, but it may be useful for troubleshooting purposes. We can also now specify a different account used to access Amazon S3 as opposed to access Amazon EC2. We did find some of our clients had that requirement in the past. We can now choose any available Amazon EC2 region, and I'm going to use AP Southeast 2 because I'm based in Australia. We can choose any of the available availability zones within our selected region, and we can choose to select an existing Amazon S3 bucket, or we can simply create a new bucket by specifying a new name for a bucket. We now have a checkbox to select, which will ensure that we delete the S3 bucket after the restore process is complete. To restore an Arcserve UDP recovery point, we need to browse for the location of the recovery point. How this recovery point found its way onto this particular server is the subject of another video. I just need to browse for the location of the recovery point and select the top level, the name of the actual server that was backed up originally, in this case SQL 02. We then select Next. On this screen we do have an option to deselect any volumes that we do not wish to restore. It may be beneficial that we just want to restore the system drive in Amazon and then restore data from other means. We can then choose our subnet and also our security group. If we wish, we can select an IP address to use, and we will automatically test the availability of a selected IP address. IP address is not currently in use. We'll get confirmation that it is available. However, if it's in use, we'll be warned that it is assigned to another network card. If you absolutely must use the IP address, then you must use the Amazon console to free up that network interface. We can now choose our instance type. You can see we have a checkbox for enhanced network support. If that is selected, then newer instance types will be offered. When it's not selected, you'll be presented with more compatible instance types. We can type a name for our virtual machine, and again we can filter instance types based on their requirements, compute optimized or memory optimized, or general purpose. When we've selected our instance type, we can just click Next to continue. We're then presented with a summary of the task that the application will perform. We're now able to either monitor the task or to perform a new task. And as you can see, when we perform a new task, our credentials and the choices we made previously have been remembered, so it can be a quicker process. We really just need to choose a new recovery point. And this time I'm actually recovering an Amazon EC2 instance. Again, we can select a new IP address and choose our security group. And again, choose the instance type that we wish to use, and of course change the name tag to something appropriate. Now we can actually monitor the progress. I have accelerated the upload and conversion process to show a completed task. We can then use the Amazon EC2 console to inspect the virtual machine that's been created. Firstly, we can check that the storage is there. The disk that has been created inside of Amazon EC2 is present. We can also check things like the IP address has been correctly assigned and the security group has been correctly assigned. We can power on the virtual machine. For a short while, we can choose to view the instant screenshot and observe the virtual machine booting. So the first virtual machine has now successfully been restored in Amazon EC2. And if I return to my tool, I can see that my second virtual machine has now completed as well. This is a larger virtual machine. It took a little bit longer to complete. I can now start that particular instance. Again, we can use the screenshot utility to verify that the virtual machine has booted successfully. And that concludes the demonstration.